Hey guys, so in this video I want to talk about how you can improve your decision making in Fortnite. As soon as you drop out of the battle bus, you're constantly making decisions on where to go and what to do. Should I rotate to zone now or later? Should I build battle this guy for high ground or turtle on low ground? Should I take a blue assault rifle or a gold infantry rifle? There's so many different decisions that you're forced to make quickly and on the fly, and the worst part about it is that in Fortnite, one wrong decision will cost you your life and the entire game. It could be something as small as just editing the top row of your wall instead of a window that would have caught your opponent off guard and won you the fight. Obviously, decision making is extremely important in consistently doing well, so how can we always make the right decisions? Unfortunately, it's basically impossible to always make the right decision, but there are a few things you can do to make better decisions, which usually end up as the right ones. Before we jump into it though, I want to thank ProGuides for partnering up with me on this video. ProGuides is an incredible resource that helps you get better at every aspect of Fortnite. They offer a ton of different courses and guides on everything from basic building techniques to more advanced building and editing tricks. They recently released an amazing course they filmed with Benji Fishy that focuses on scoring higher in arena and mastering arena late games. Benji Fishy is arguably the best player in the world and was the first player to qualify for both solos and duos in the World Cup. It's a total of 5 different chapters that covers everything from the early game to piggybacking on kills to even dealing with poor loot. It's without a doubt one of the most useful and most in-depth arena guides that I've seen so far. So if you're interested, make sure you check out Benji Fishy's new course and everything else ProGuides has to offer through the link in the description. With that being said, let's start with the first way you can improve your decision making, learning when you should and should not take fights. Deciding if you're going to fight someone is probably the single hardest yet most common decision in Fortnite. In public matches, when there's nothing on the line, like in the current background gameplay, 95% of people will push you and want to fight you right after they see you. In Arena and World Cup qualifiers, where there is something on the line, you would think that it's different, but it's not. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a Champions League match in Arena, and I've gotten held in Storm while Zone is across the map. Most people don't understand that you don't always need to fight someone that you see, especially in arena and tournament matches. Anytime you get into a fight with an opponent, either you kill your opponent or your opponent kills you. It's not going to be a straight 50-50 just because you may have more shields or a better shotgun or just be a better player overall, but there's still the possibility that you die and you lose the match. Do you want to know how you can never die in the early game and mid game? You don't fight anyone. It's that simple. If you never get into any fights, then you can never die. And I know that's basically impossible to do, because if it was that simple, there would be like 80 people left endgame. I'm not saying you should never fight people. What I am saying though is that you should only fight people when you need to or when it's smart to. When you need to are situations like you're getting pushed by some psychomaniac soccer skin who hit you for 10 shield and is now triple ramping at you while throwing 5 stink grenades. When someone starts a fight with you, unless you have a safe way to disengage, you're probably gonna have to fight them. Don't just go into arena and try to run away from every fight. Also, don't expect people to not fight you. Other players are dumb. Why? Because they're not subscribed to my channel, of course. Kidding, but the real reason is that they're just too bloodthirsty and they think that they can W key everyone like their favorite streamers do. People like this will fight you no matter what, and there's nothing you can do to stop them other than to fight back. So don't run, just stand your ground and do your best to win the fight. The only other time I advise to take fights are when they're smart fights. An example of a smart fight would be pressuring someone when you have a bad loadout, or taking a fight off spawn when you have a good loadout, like good mats, good shield, and loot, or pressuring someone when you take off a lot of their shield and health. The latter two are pretty self-explanatory. You should always be pressuring someone you have an advantage over. If you happen to land on a combat and you hear someone trying to loot below you, it's probably a smart play to take a fight with them. You should also fight someone after you get them pretty low, like if you were to hit them with a heavy sniper. You know that they're at max 50 health, so you should be building over to them and using all your rotation items to try and secure that kill as quickly as possible. Kills are extremely important in competitive gameplay just because they're worth 1 point, which is huge in tourneys and arena, but they're even more important for basically any game mode, competitive and normal matches, because it gives you the opportunity to pick up loot of whoever you killed. This relates to my other example of a smart fight. Say you're in a tournament match and all you have to your name is a white AR, a white tac, some bandages, and a silent sniper coming out of wherever you dropped. The chances that you win that game or even get top 25 for placement points is really low. You have no mobility at all, barely any ammo, and your whole loadout is trash. The smart play is not to go and play the whole game out thinking that you'll get a placement point or two. You're just wasting time by doing that. This is when you should be W keying people and pushing whoever you see, because there's a high chance that they'll have better loot than you, and by killing them and picking up their loot, that could get you back into the game. But do not, and I repeat, do not push people for no reason when you have a good loadout for endgame. Unless it's a smart fight like we just talked about, or you're forced into a fight, the best decision is not to fight at all and to try to stay alive for the late game. The last thing I want to talk about for this specific tip is that players in Fortnite will take anything you do against them very personally. You could shoot at someone rotating and completely miss, but if they're crazy enough, they'll head straight at you to try to grief your game. All it takes is one little angry Timmy with a grenade launcher or stink grenades to completely ruin your game. So please take my advice, because it will minimize bad fights and you'll avoid having your game ruined for no reason. Second tip for improving your decision making is to play your fights slowly and let your opponent make the mistake. This should be when you've already made that initial decision to fight someone like we just talked about. If you ever watch a really good player fight someone, the first thing you'll notice is that they usually let their opponent make the first move to fight. So someone like Tfue or Bizzle, if they run into someone in the mid game and they know they're going to have to fight them, they'll ramp up a level or two and just wait. The reason they wait is so their opponent is then forced to make the first move to either build up and fight them that way, or just to stay where they are, turtle up, and concede the high ground. If Tfue's opponent does build up for high ground, then usually Tfue will build up as well. But if Tfue's opponent builds up too high too quickly, then you'll see Tfue stay on the low ground and wait for them and shoot them down. By playing fights slowly and calculated, you're limiting the options your opponent has and forcing them into a bad position, which is either on the low ground or build battling for high ground. The problem I see with a lot of you guys is that you end up being the person who's forced to make the first move, and you either mess up a build while going for height, or you expose yourself for too long and get lasered. There's a ton of mistakes that you guys make that could have been avoided if you had made your opponent make the first move. Literally all you want to do in a fight early or mid game is just slowly build up, take shots at them until they decide what they want to do, and then you can go from there. A really good example of someone who capitalizes on fights is Misfits Clicks. If you've ever seen Clicks do wagers where he 1v1s people, you'll see how well he capitalizes on his opponent's mistakes. He'll build up for height, and once he gets it, he basically lurks and stalks over whoever he's fighting from above, just waiting for them to make a mistake. Basically, you want to let your opponent make the first move and then wait for them to make the mistake. That way you have a much easier way of deciding what you need to do to kill them. The third and final tip to improve your decision making is to start becoming more proactive and understanding everything that's going on in your current game. An informed decision is the best type of decision that you can make. What I mean by that is the more you know about who's around you, where zone is, what your loadout is, and everything else, the more likely your decisions will be better ones. A lot of you guys message me saying you have trouble consistently doing well even though your mechanics are consistently good. If it's not your mechanics, then it's your decision making, because even the best and fastest editors and builders can't escape from bad situations that they put themselves in. What you guys need to realize is this: just because the decision you made last game paid off and was the right one does not mean that it'll be the right one in the next game. If every time you go up for height you just scissor ramp and then do a 90 up, yes, it might work against half the players you face, but if you do it against a good player who's already a level above you, they'll have an easy shot on you and will be able to kill you. Or even something simpler like just W keying people. Let's pretend that you just blatantly disregarded my first tip on only taking smart fights and you're just heavy sniping into people's boxes. There's a good chance that you'll catch some people off guard with their pants down and you'll kill them, but there's also a good chance that someone you come up against will have a trap and they'll trap kill you. You can't only base your decision on what's worked before. Should that be a part of your decision making process? Of course it should, but it should not be the only part of it. The majority of your decision making should be based on the current game you're in, the current fight you're in, the current player you're fighting, your current health and shields, and your current loadout. Every decision you make should have a reason behind it. The reason you're taking shadow bombs over a third weapon should be because zone is across the map. The reason you're going for a cone jump instead of trying to edit the cone is because you see your enemy on it. Sometimes it might even be the wrong decision because that's basically what Fortnite is. Fortnite has so much randomness and luck that it makes even simple and straightforward decisions wrong. You can't do anything about that except for learning from it and realizing you probably did make the right decision, but you just got screwed over by RNG. Don't use this as a scapegoat for every bad decision you make and say, Oh, well, Jarian said even the right decisions can be the wrong ones sometimes. If you're having trouble determining if your decision was the right one or not, just go back into replay mode and go over those thought processes from the beginning. Go all the way back to where the game started to go downhill in your mind. Maybe you should have rotated a different way or rotated earlier. Maybe you should have picked up that glider redeploy. That's what you should be thinking about after the fact, so the next time you're trying to make an informed decision, you'll already be questioning what different options you have and what can come of them. Overall, do your best to take smart fights if you're trying to win and consistently do well in pubs, arena, and tournaments. Play the fights that you do take slowly and wait for your opponents to make the first move so you can capitalize on their mistakes. Lastly, make your decisions informed decisions by thinking about everything that's going on in your game at the time. So, if this video helped you guys out, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. Thank you to everyone using code Jarian. I'm choosing winners for the Ducky12 mini giveaway in about a week, so this is one of your last chances to enter. All details will be on my Twitter. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.